Our final presenter for this rapid fire innovation session is Eric Beryl, who will share insights of a long-term food recycler, drawing upon his experiences at Nork Solutions and other food recycling activities that he's been involved in. Please welcome Eric.
Is there Hi all, my name's Eric. I'm the Chief Innovation at Nork Solutions. I have my notes here and I'm frankly very uncomfortable, so if I do a lot of this, that's why, and I apologise in advance. But look, what we do, this is long-term family business. What we do, I don't think I really need to go in with this audience to what happens in food waste with bread. The real problem in this, when it comes to bread, is that at scale, for 1 tonne of bread, there's 2,000 wrappers. And our machinery that we developed solves that problem. So top line, obviously, outcome is that it reduces landfill and methane and so on. For me, one of the important bits is it strengthens agriculture and food production through a virtuous loop of feedback and keeping the nutrients in the food supply chain. We can see this with water. It takes 1.3 tonne of water to make a tonne of grain. And that value is still present in the bread that we process. So by keeping that in the food supply chain, we don't lose those resources. As with any ag family, our business story is also our family's story. So my dad grew up subsistence farming in Ireland. In the 1980s, Mum and Dad discovered Paradise Perth and they moved over here. So in the 90s, when the freeway still ended at Canning Highway, they bought a plot of land in Mundijong and started farming cattle. By 98, Dad had started collecting bread from major bakeries. I was in early high school and suddenly my weekends and holidays were absorbed with collecting and manually unwrapping bread, and I was not very grateful for that. But I'll fast forward the next 20 years because it's meant to be rapid fire. I'm trying my best. But look, what happened, the farm was, in those 20 years, the farm was sold to better focus on the upcycling. Nindi Feedlots was restructured to Nork Solutions. We had a constant equipment testing and upgrading process. And then last year, Neotech was founded, but we'll get to that later. So currently, Nork recycles about 70% of WA's surplus bread, and we're eager to tackle the next 30 tonne that still goes to landfill, 30 tonne per week. These are a few fun photos just from farming. The top line is Mundijong. That's now a brewery, or the site of a brewery at least. This slide, I always feel a bit of imposter syndrome with this one. So in agricultural engineering, as opposed to traditional engineering, you understand the problem, draw out the diagram, build it. In agriculture, you just build it. And it's very important to weld everything in place so that any kind of maintenance needs to require an angle grinder. What this for me represents that we're engaging and have been working with an engineering firm that will ready this for mass production, or at least more than one production. The notion is to make it available for use by other businesses through Neotech. So we'll get to Neotech in a bit. Now, I'm very passionate about this. I've been in it forever, and it's important to me that I get this a bit right. So I'm going to do even less eye contact. I believe it is important and noble to feed people, and I hate waste, but I do believe that in feeding people, we also must ensure that there is no shortage. And so without perfect logistics, some surplus is inevitable. It was with these ideas that led me to believe that upcycling bread was and still is the best thing I can do. This belief led me away from farming, which I still miss, to focus on upcycling. This macro rumination is outside of my experience, so I will use somebody else's expertise, I should say, sorry. The mob, that's an unfortunate positioning, but the mob at End Food Waste released this report in February that focuses on upcycling, and I cannot rate it more highly. They've done the work and it shines through. I don't have the time to get into all the bits I love of this, but it presents a framework that in my experience will accelerate development of an upcycling sector here that will strengthen primary and secondary food production via beneficial integrations such as NORC's current activities. It's a 10 out of 10 and I'd highly recommend. It is 71 pages, but Adobe now has an AI function that will summarize that for you. But we'll go back to NORC. So we knew that the core of our value is our specific expertise and innovations, our equipment, and that would be more valuable shared. So that led us to searching for the how to get to the next step. And over the past few years, we've benefited greatly from help, assistance, and some education from these and others. Now, we've made it to newer tech. So newer tech is, in the same way that NORC references Nindi, my parents' cattle farm, Newer references my parents' Irish birth. Newer means new in Irish, and in Arabic, Nuar is akin to intent and intention, so it was far too perfect to have new intention for waste food. This will be the vehicle to export our developed innovations. This may seem like marketing dribble, but tomorrow we fly out to the UAE to meet with some globally significant companies. My role is to be a face at least, and to not mess it up. So any success with our international aspirations will increase the development speed of our current R&D. 2 years ago, we used some of our shredded bread to produce ethanol. We achieved a 17% yield. This year, collaborating with Janet Howison at Curtin University and some of her students, they achieved a 39% yield. Our goal is to aim to create increased and more value adds for surplus food. So this framework, I hope, I intend at least, it should continue the iterative development process that began with my dad in 1998 when I was just trying to sleep in on Saturdays. I won't go into it, it's there. So obviously the team that'll help us do it, here we have Hava, which is my better half and boss. In agriculture, the women are always the boss. We've just made it official. We have Ryan Smith, who's our UAE consultant. He's going to be making sure I don't put my foot in it next week. Then we have Tash Teakle. If you don't know Tash, she's a WA powerhouse. I well recommend looking her up. Wheezy is a director of finance at a federal agency. His involvement should not be construed as endorsement by that agency. He is just a best mate of mine. He was in my groomsmen party, and I'm very lucky to have such expertise on my team. So, but he didn't want me to put his name up there. Okay, so please, I am very nervous, but I'm not normally. Feel free, look us up, have a chat. Come find us. A heap of experience, I believe, at least in this very narrow space. And 5 seconds, I made it. Thank you.